Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Beth. I make all kinds of motherhood and lifestyle videos here on YouTube. Today I am going to be sharing something that I thought would be a valuable way to kind of end off this year of 2023. I have been thinking and praying about how to best encourage and equip you guys going into this new year as moms and as women. What I thought would be most helpful for you guys is actually sharing a little bit about how my husband and I use the year end as an opportunity to dream, to set new vision for our family, and to kind of create a plan and new goals of how we want to work together as a team, as husband and wife, but also where we want our family to go into that next year and into the future. I'm also excited to be working with one of my favorite skincare brands, Typology, in this video, so to hear a special offer that they have for viewers of my channel, just keep on watching. So one of the things that my husband and I do every single year at the end of the year is sit down and basically have, I guess what you could call an annual strategic meeting. What it is a time on the calendar. It's a date for the two of us to have some time away from the kids to really just sit down and to connect basically about how that last year went and how we want the next year and years of our lives together to go. The reason that we do this is because my husband and I are a team. We are the unit that provides the vision and the direction for our family, and it is very hard to lead your family in a direction if you don't actually know where you're going. So I'm gonna share all of the different prompts that my husband and I basically just go through and kind of get on the same page with at the end of every year. This year we are starting by doing something a little bit different, and that is creating a family mission statement, but also new family values. Now, if you haven't never heard of the concept of a family mission statement, it's basically just borrowed from the business world, and essentially it's just a guiding statement about who you want your family to be and what you want your family to do that you can come back to over time as an anchor, but will also give you a lot of purpose as individuals and as a family. The last time my husband Jared and I wrote a mission statement was actually on our honeymoon. We now have 2 children, 1 on the way. Our lives look a lot different, so we thought that this was the perfect year for us to actually revisit this thought of the family mission statement and reprioritize it in a whole new way as well. And so essentially the process that we've already begun is creating a mind map about the different things that are really important to us as people, and basically just what we want to be known for as the Moors. The second thing that we are going to be doing is also creating family values and family value statements that we can reference as well. So the difference between the family mission statement and the family values is that our mission statement is basically the reason why we exist, and our values are how we want to achieve all of the things that we have laid out in that mission statement, the different things that we want to prioritize and what we want that to look like really practically when it comes to the culture of our family. So mission and value statements are very high level. They are like the 1,000-foot view over top of what you guys want to look like as people, and then obviously there's also going to be all of the different habits and routines and rituals that you have as individuals that will kind of feed into what those look like. But the purpose of all of this is that that mission and those values will actually influence what those habits and routines and rituals will look like for the next year. I think it's important to kind of do this whole process before you start goal setting as an individual, as a married couple, and as a family, because it's really hard to know what you should be prioritizing if you don't know where you are going as people in general. On this topic of habits and routines, I did want to take a second to tell you guys about one of the habits that I implemented this past year that I've been absolutely loving and cannot wait to carry into this next year, and that is my skincare routine with Typology. If you have never heard of Typology before, they are a French skincare brand based in Paris. It's actually the top selling online brand for skincare in Paris and is still kind of under the radar over here, but they are incredible because they are minimalist and effective. Because they are formulated in Europe, they have to comply with really strict regulations, and so the ingredients that are in these products are ones that I know are clean, simple, and safe for me to use on my skin every day. All of their products are vegan, naturally sourced, environmentally friendly, and their packaging is environmentally friendly as well. One of the many reasons that I love recommending Typology is that they create a skincare skincare routine that is fully customized to you. They've created something called their skin diagnostic test, which is created by dermatologists. It only takes about 4 minutes to take, and basically it will place you into one of 24 different skin typologies. So instead of just being told that you have oily skin or dry skin or combination skin, you're gonna get a custom report back to you that's going to include a full AM and PM routine perfectly laid out for you, and you don't have to spend any time researching what that's gonna look like or what products are right for you. And as a busy mom, it truly does not get better than that. Typology's products are also pregnancy safe and breastfeeding safe, which is something that is very important for me as I am currently pregnant. And one of the things that I love about the skin diagnostic is that you can take it again if you find that your skin kind of needs are changing, whether that is environmental, it's the change of seasons, or for you it is simply pregnancy. I know for myself, when I got pregnant with baby number 3, I experienced a lot of acne all of a sudden. So I actually retook the test and got a whole new prescription created for me that would cater to the fact that I was having that acne and help me work through that. One of the products that I have been loving in my new prescription is the Radiance Mask that comes with yellow clay and organic turmeric. This face mask is at 98% naturally derived, but it's also full of antioxidants that are meant to help restore radiance in your complexion. So basically you leave it on for 10 minutes and your skin texture when you remove it is more refined, your complexion is a lot more glowy, and for me that has been helping a lot with just some of the bumps I've been getting all over my face in this pregnancy. The other product of theirs that I have been using for a while now and is also great if you're someone that struggles with acne is the exfoliating cleansing gel with 5% PHA and aloe vera. This is a cleansing gel that you can use daily. It feels so soft, so gentle on your skin, and it gives you micro exfoliation. So it unclogs pores, it smooths out textures, and just restores that radiant, glowing look to your complexion over time while also leaving your face feeling so fresh. So this is certainly a staple in my everyday skincare routine. If you are looking to not only get a little bit more time back in your routine, but also do something for yourself in the new year, I highly recommend taking Typology Skin Diagnostic Test. It's free to take. You will get a full AM and PM prescription generated for you. So if you want to check that out, be sure to head to the link in my description box. I have noticed such a change in my own skin since being consistent with my Typology routine, so I highly recommend that you take the Skin Diagnostic. Again, you can find the link for that in the description box, and thank you so much to Typology for working with me on today's video. So for Jared and I, once we have set our new family mission statement and our family values, we are going to dive into what we call our annual review preview. That means exactly what it sounds like. It is a review of everything that happened in the previous year and a preview of what we want the next year to look like and the different goals and routines we want to set as a family. We love to make this part really fun for us as a couple, and so I think it's fun to just do something that you know you're going to enjoy together, whether that's hunkering down in a coffee shop with some nice drinks and some treats, or lighting some candles and getting some fun appetizers and doing it together at home. I think it's a great way to make it a very intimate date night, especially because you are going to be talking about topics that may not have come up for a long time and could be hard to talk through, but also I think are really exciting to talk through as well. So the first kind of bucket of conversation that we start with is something that went really well that year. There is an opportunity for me to reflect on that and then share from my perspective what I feel like is going really well. Basically anything from that year that felt really good or that you were really proud of. After that first question is where things can get a little bit harder, and that is reflecting on things that didn't go well this year. And I encourage you guys to really just dig deep into this, not critical for the sake of being critical, but using a critical lens to look at where you are at as an opportunity to grow and to get better. And so we will do this again for ourselves as individuals, for our marriage, but also just for our family life in general. And I think that this is a great way to start before you get into setting some of those new goals or habits for yourselves in the next year. And so just to be totally honest, some of the things that we reflected on and wrote down last year were that with physical health, we felt like we wanted to prioritize that a little bit better, releasing worry and control to God, just different things things like that. I think all of us have those things that can kind of be sticking points and things that we can come back to year over year and having a hard time with, and that's okay. But this is a space for us to actually lay all of that out on the table, get real about it, and make a plan for how to change it into the next year. The next thing that we talk about, also, my camera just got so bright. I'm so sorry. The lighting right now is kind of in and out of bright and dark, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. But the next thing that we talk about is our biggest strength areas and our biggest growth areas. And these can be really similar to reflection points of things that went well and didn't go well. But basically, this is an opportunity to, again, on that 1,000-foot level, really distill it down to the strengths and the weaknesses, or areas to improve upon. So examples of strengths for the year could be, we were really great at our budget this year, or that could also go directly into the growth area. Well, when we did this review preview in 2022, some of the strengths that we wrote down were teamwork and parenting together and kind of doing that as a team. Whereas this year, I think it's so funny because our circumstances, with Jared having done a whole basement renovation and me being kind of solo with the kids a lot of the time, I feel like both of those things would go directly into the growth area. So it's just a good opportunity year over year to kind of see where you two are at. The next talking point that we go into is my favorite part of the review of the previous year, and it is things that we are thanking God for, or answered prayers that kind of came to pass in that previous year. I think this is such an important thing to do as husband and wife, is to actually think back to all of the different things that you spent so much time in prayer over. Maybe you raised as prayer requests to people in your life and wanted to bring people into, but then so often we spend a ton of time in prayer asking God for things, and then when God actually shows up in that area of our life, we don't spend an equal amount of time returning to Him and thanking Him and praising Him for what He has done. And so very simply, not only does this create an opportunity for us to just foster that posture of gratitude towards God, but it also puts us back in that position of husband and wife, just being dependent on Him and grateful to Him for what He's done and what we believe that He'll continue to do in the next year as well. And so I absolutely love this part. I think that it's the part that often ends in tears, just being so grateful for what God has done in the past year. And let's be honest, life gets busy and crazy with kids, and it might not even be until this moment that you realize one of the things that you had been praying for was answered in this year. And so it's a great way to kind of just reflect on all of that and do that together as husband and wife. The final thing that we do in the review portion of this meeting is just a fun thing, and that is each share what our favorite memory or memories were of that year. So basically just thinking all the way back to January of the previous year and kind of month by month thinking through what happened, what were the different things that went on, and just kind of having that opportunity to laugh together and reflect is a really fun way to end things off before you go into the preview for the next year. In a similar way to how we round up our review, we also start our preview with the things that we are praying for this next year. I think that this is, again, a helpful thing to do before you just start jumping into, I want my habits to be going to the gym every day and drinking 8 cups of water and all of these things. It's starting with that heart of, what do you actually have for us this year and want for us this year? And starting to write out what some of those kind of big dreams are before you move into the really practical pieces. Coming out of some of those prayer requests for the year, we move into all of our intention setting. So this is a process that sometimes does take a little bit longer than one evening. I think it's good to just start getting some ideas down, but it could take some personal reflection time, prayer, and coming back to kind of share where you two have landed when it comes to where you want to go as individuals and as a family. But in intention setting, what we will do is start with a word of the year. And what we have done in the past is have a family word for the year, but also a personal word for the year. And this doesn't need to be anything too fancy or spiritual. You don't need to agonize over what this word is going to be. But what's really interesting about it is that in the conversations that we've had as husband and wife and the words that we've written down, looking back year over year, I have kind of seen the way that God has woven that theme throughout the entire year that we have just had together and as a family. And so if anything, I think that this can actually be a prophetic moment, an opportunity to kind of speak out what you want that year to look like, what you want to prioritize as a family, but also as individuals. From this point, we move into the goal setting. When it comes to goal setting, I feel like I don't need to go too much into detail about what that process looks like because I think it's something that we're all very familiar with. Goals, in my opinion, are a lot more high level. I don't set too many of them, and then it's the habits that actually kind of influence or help us achieve those goals. That's kind of the way that we see it and have operated. We will set family goals and kind of the things that we want to achieve as a family in this next year. We set individual goals and kind of what we want to see for ourselves as people in this next year. And then we also set financial goals and kind of where we want to be financially at the end of the year. And then thinking really practically through the elements of how are we going to get there is where all of the different habits come in. To give you guys an example of like a family goal and then a family like set of habits, if a family goal that you have for the year is to grow in your discipleship of your kids and kind of strengthening and encouraging them in their walk with Jesus, you may want to set some habits or some core rhythms for the year that are going to help you achieve that. So some things that you may want to consider in there are going to church weekly, attending a small group, or having some sort of weekly play date on the calendar with other Christian families with young kids that are doing this walk together, or things like sitting down every morning and reading the Bible together for a few minutes before we all go about our days. Those are some examples of like, here's the goal and here are the different habits that we want to achieve to get there. When it comes to habits, I feel like we need to be very realistic with ourselves because we can set a gajillion goals, a gajillion habits, and then in the first week of the new year, all of a sudden it's like we're not really able to get any of them done because we've just gone way too crazy with what we've set. And so I think it's good to just distill this down to a few really high level goals and then think about the habits that are actually going to be realistic for you, are still going to be a little bit of a challenge for you to implement, but things that you know you're not going to get so burnt out on and not actually be able to achieve a couple of days or weeks or months into the year. The final things that we go through in this meeting as husband and wife are any anticipated large purchases that we know are coming up in the year, because those are really important when it comes to our financial goals, and then also important dates to have on the calendar. So there are certain things that going into the year you probably already know are happening, and so having a family calendar, whether that's access to individual calendars that you each have or one kind of shared family calendar, whatever that looks like, the important thing is just that you are on the same page with your time for this year and kind of how you are investing that. And so this is a great opportunity to just put down anything like important anniversaries or trips that you are going on, or appointments or recurring activities for you or the kids. Little things like that to just get on the same page. After we have gone through all of this, we will write down some next steps. So if there's anything that really practically needs to happen coming out of this meeting, maybe you need to buy a family calendar that is visible for you on your wall. That is something that I know that we need to do as a family this year. There's just going to be a lot of little things that can come out of this conversation that are going to require some action to actually move forward on. So go over next steps, talk about who is accountable for what, assign dates to it if it's something that you think will actually encourage you to get it all done. But that is the final step. It concludes your annual meeting with your husband or your wife. And I guarantee, even if you did have to have some hard conversations in that meeting together, that you will both come out of it stronger for it and with a lot more clarity and vision for the year ahead. You'll have opportunity to open up about things that maybe you haven't really felt like there's been time to talk about. You'll have an opportunity to really connect together as friends, to rekindle your romance, to create plans for fun in your life over this next year, but also to make sure that you two are on the same page. I think it's so important to put time on the calendar for these types of connection points as husband and wife, and I really do think that your entire family will be so much better for it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was a little bit different, but my husband and I are going to be taking a little bit of time off over the holiday season, so by the time that this goes up, I will be in full vacay mode and we will be going through this process together. I invite you to join us in that, to put a date on the calendar where you can maybe get a babysitter or have the kids down first and just start this process of reflecting and preparing for the year that is to come. If finally prioritizing your skin and your skincare routine is something that you are looking to implement in this new year, Typology is an incredible way to do it. And if you want to just really easily get a full AM and PM skincare routine generated for you, again, all you have to do is take that free skin diagnostic test. You can find the link to do that in my description box. You will get the antioxidant serum with 3% ferulic acid for free. So thank you so much to Typology for working with me on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having an incredible holiday season and have an awesome new year. And until my next video, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.